Hi, I'm Javier Muñoz. I, along with Molly Braverman of Broadway Green Alliance and Jeff Whitting of Open Jar Studios, collaborated together to create what is now known as the Broadway Relief Project. Our mission is to manufacture as many PPEs as needed by New York City to help support our frontline healthcare workers. In this effort, which started in March, all of our ideas would have been for naught if not for the person you're about to meet. His involvement and his effort is literally the glue to help the Broadway Relief Project actually happen. Bruce Barish of Winzer Cleaners is our transportation, our wheels on the ground, our ability to get fabrics to our stitchers and manufactured PPEs to Open Jar Studios where the city comes to collect them. Literally, he and his drivers have made this happen. So without any further ado, I'm so proud to introduce you to Bruce Barish. Bruce, hello.
How are you? Good to actually meet you face to face.
I know, this is great. All of our emailing and text messaging for months and months.
Yeah, we've been talking for, I don't know, probably 10 weeks.
It's been a lot. It's been crazy. Let's just jump right in. I know who you are, of course, but for folks watching who are not necessarily Broadway theater goers or just are theater goers but have never heard of Winzer Cleaners, what rock have they been living under? But please give a brief explanation of who you are, what Winzer Cleaners provides, and the great legacy that you guys have built, please.
Okay, so Winzer Cleaners has been around since 1908, cleaning for the Broadway stage. Ernest Winzer was the original owner. In 1952, my grandfather purchased it from Ernest Winzer upon his retirement. So I am fourth generation running it, third generation in my family.
Awesome. So I'm just gonna jump ahead to give a brief backdrop for folks. So back in March, when New York City went on lockdown, and I reached out to BCEFA to ask if they could help point me in the right direction of people to talk to help make this idea happen. The Broadway Relief Project was just a thought, just an idea at the time. They connected me with Molly Braverman. Molly and I got to talking and brainstorming, and we just hit this giant wall and said, how are we going to actually make this happen? We can get all these fabrics. We have these incredible artists in all the boroughs ready to volunteer. How are we actually practically going to get materials to them, get the PPEs to where they need to get? How can we actually make this happen? The second day of that kind of brainstorming, Valerie at BCFA connected Bruce, you, and myself via email. We hopped on a call, and I would just love to dive into, as they say, the rest is history, of course, right? From there, you joined the process, and you've been our glue. But I would love to know you were already in action. I remember that conversation. You had a fire in your belly. You had your drivers ready to go. You were already in action, ready to respond and help. So, just a backdrop. What was happening for you specifically and Winzer Cleaners when the lockdown happened that inspired you to say, "I want to help"?
So Thursday was the day of the lockdown. I think I started to find out that it was definitely going to happen probably about 2 hours before the world found out. I believe Moulin Rouge was the first show that actually had somebody that tested positive. So I was already making calls to everybody, trying to figure out what we could do to help. Come Friday morning, when the lockdown was really in effect, I was watching both the mayor and the governor talk about that they needed people to help them make PPEs. So I kind of have two hats that I was putting on. I'm also the president of the National Cleaners Association. So I know a lot of dry cleaners and a lot of dry cleaners that have tailors. But obviously, I also know a lot of people on Broadway that were going to be unemployed for quite some time and definitely have stitching abilities. So I was already, trying to knock down the door to get to either the governor or the mayor all day Friday until we were put together on Saturday morning.
It's so exciting, and I think about this all the time. Molly was already in action. You were already in action. Jeff was already in action, and it just by combining our forces, we had so much weight to then be able to scream and shout for the city to say, okay, who are you? We'll
Right.
help you. And like, fantastic, right? Because that's how it happened. Um, just for folks out there, like what are some of the bigger obstacles you've faced since starting in March through to today in this effort with the Broadway Relief Project?
Well, it took us 2 weeks, as you know, to kind of get off the ground, which I think we all thought was crazy.
Yeah, shared, yes.
But literally right after I took the phone call from you, I started to find out as a dry cleaner, we were considered essential. But this had happened in other states where they actually took dry cleaners off the essential list, and they were talking about actually taking dry cleaners in New York off the list. So I had to put on the dry cleaner's hat and speak to my board and try to get them to help us keep everybody open. Obviously, dry cleaners needed to be open for themselves as well. And you know, that worked out, but it was a little crazy, you know, trying to get this whole thing together.
I totally remember that. I remember, I think it was via text that we were discussing that possibility, and
Right.
it just felt like all the air came out from the, you know, all the air deflated. It just felt like, oh, then we're done. We're done. We're never going to make this happen. And thank you for that and your persistence. And just walk us through, like, what does an average day look like for you and your drivers?
Right now, you mean?
Yeah, or like during the process with the Broadway Relief Project, what would like an average day sort of look like?
Well, you know, I mean, because the world got shut down, our business became slim to none. So we employ 20 people. We employ 4 drivers. By the time we got the whole thing off the ground, most of my people were starting to run scared. Nobody got sick, thank God. But a lot of people just wanted to be at home, wanted to just take the unemployment check. Thank God we had 2 drivers, because we did and still do have some business. I don't have 5 days a week for my drivers without the project, but right now we're basically doing 2 days a week with Broadway Relief Project, and we have 2 or 3 days that we can keep the guys busy as well. So far it's worked out very well to at least keep them employed.
And they're literally, I mean, they're going around to the boroughs to pick up the PPEs and bring them to open jar. Is that correct?
That is correct, yeah. I mean, so the time schedule that we have is something we're used to because of Broadway. With Broadway, we pick up the costumes at like 11 o'clock at night, and we got to get it back right after lunchtime. So my guys are used to, and we worked through 9/11. We've worked through hurricanes and snowstorms and stuff. So that, you know, was a no-brainer for us.
It's still amazing. It may be a no-brainer for y'all, but I think it's absolutely incredible.
Thank you.
So yeah, this is amazing. I feel like we're almost at time. So let me finish this up with one last question and say, why do you feel in times like these, and you mentioned 9/11 and hurricanes and natural disasters, why do you feel in times like these, this kind of action and effort is important to you and in general?
I think everybody needs to try to help everybody out as best as we can. You know, we're all in this together, and in this particular case, we're definitely all in this together. If people don't help, I mean, I can remember, and I think I told you this, with 9/11, when that happened, that first weekend, because we don't normally produce on the weekends because Broadway has the 4 shows, I had wanted to go down to the pile to volunteer and help. And my kids had, you know, literally just been born a few years before, and my wife basically begged me not to, because of the kid and because of Broadway, what we had to do, you know, on an everyday basis to go forward. And I don't know, I felt a little guilty that I wasn't able to do more to help then. Here, I just felt like there was something I could definitely do and definitely add to the, you know, to help somebody. And I'm glad we've been able to do it.
Bruce, you're amazing. And it's been an honor to get to meet you through this effort,
You as well.
to witness your passion and humanity for all of this. Truly, truly heartfelt thank you for all you've done and continue to do.
And you as well. You know, it's definitely been a team effort by all of us.
Awesome. Thank you for your time today, Bruce. Please take care.
You as well. I'll talk to you soon.